Hello students, welcome to week 2, Confronting the Other. I hope your week was eventful in positive ways, but I also hope that you had an opportunity to learn more about James Baldwin, the writer. In this week's virtual discussion, I want to speak to you about a trial lawyer for justice by the name of Ben Crump. I had an opportunity to meet him during the 50th anniversary of the March Across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama. Here is a picture of Ben Crump, me, a couple of my colleagues, and a student. Systemic injustice and racism have deep historical roots in this country. Broadly speaking, terms are defined as deeply ingrained racist thinking, practices, and actions embedded in the core foundations of American society that have persisted over centuries and continue today. The struggle against racial injustice in America boiled over once again in the summer of 2020, following the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and countless other black men and women. Attorney Ben Crump, who has become a fierce advocate for equality, justice, and civil rights, represents the families of Floyd, Taylor, and Arbery, and many other families of those who were killed, harmed, or marginalized due to systemic injustice and racism. Crump works diligently to eradicate racial injustice in America, as well as the many other ways that have affected black people in their health, education, livelihoods, and lives. What he hopes is that people come away with a heightened awareness of how the web of systemic inequalities in America works against black Americans. Hashtag Living While Black is often used on social media to bring to light all the ways black people are racialized, stereotyped, and victimized in public spaces, and sometimes even in private spaces, like Breonna Taylor. Hashtag Living While Black critiques how racialization and racism work together to disadvantage, harm, or oppress. It identifies all the ways black people are discriminated against or racially profiled when they shop, work, exercise, run errands, get an education, or just pursue recreational interests. I encourage you to research this site as well as research the work of Ben Crump when you have the opportunity. I know that many of you might find Ben Crump as interesting as I have, and the site hashtag Living While Black might provide a basis for some of the things that you'll write later on in the semester. By now, James Baldwin has infused his thoughts into your mind to at least give you a sense of his thoughts about the black experience in the 1960s and before. Using the metaphor of the dungeon, which was the black experience in 1963, Baldwin harkens back to traditional black spiritual hymns, from which his title springs. By tying his message to his nephew to this specific tradition of his people, he vicariously ties his nephew and all the current generation of young people to this tradition. This tradition is one of survival and striving for social change through nonviolence. Does that sound familiar? In week 2, I look forward to reading your thoughts and insights on Baldwin's Down at the Cross. I'd like to encourage each of you to watch the short video on Ben Crump listed in the table of contents under Down at the Cross for week 2. So for now, it's goodbye until next week. I hope you have a terrific week.